Patton Sports Videocast is brought to you by Snap Laces. Snap Laces' elite lacing system was designed for world-class athletes. They come in hundreds of color combinations so you can perform well and look great at the same time. Buy a set online today by clicking through the top image on mopattonsports.com. Great teams have talent. They also have the necessary tools for success. BSN Sports delivers these tools whether your team needs uniforms, apparel, or athletic equipment to achieve greatness. Just like a winning teammate, BSN Sports is there for you. Their unmatched service ensures that you have best-in-class equipment for championship-level performance, plus uniforms and athletic apparel from the best brands in the industry to look your best when hoisting your trophy. I want to thank you for joining us here at Brentwood Academy for Patton Sports Videocast for Week 8. Kevin, it's coming down on us, and we've got a big one we're going to have here Friday night, but we'll get to that in a second. Game's starting to mean a little bit more, as we've said here over the last couple of weeks, and got a big one in Region 5-5A with Independence and Shelbyville. Not as big as it was going to be before Shelbyville lost to Lincoln County, but still a lot on the line in this one, I think.
Yeah, and a huge loss actually for Shelbyville. Now you're looking at going from a possible, a matchup for a region championship to now they could drop all the way to a 4 seed and maybe even a 5 seed with a Laverne kind of hanging out back there in the Stewart's Creek. Two teams that could also try to make a run at the playoffs. So Shelbyville's kind of in a must-win situation, and if they don't right the ship from what happened last week with some turnovers, they're going to be in for a long night versus Independence. Now, they need to get healthy. Their best running back, Michael Eddings, was out with a concussion, and Mason Cunningham, the quarterback, got off to kind of a shaky start. If they can get him in a rhythm early and get Michael back, Shelbyville should be okay. They have the firepower and the defense to hang in there with a very good Independence team.
Generally speaking, and you talk about concussions, how quick can you get back? And I know it depends on the severity of it, but typically, as a coach, are you better safe than sorry with that and hold a guy out after he just suffered it the previous week?
Yeah, and really, you should listen to your trainers and your doctors. As a coach, you should let the professionals do their professional job. And so, as a coach, you rely on your trainers and your doctors telling you what is going on with that young man, and you listen to them and you make your decisions based on those doctors and trainers.
Independent, speaking of injuries, we were kind of anticipating Andrew Bunch being back at quarterback for them coming out of their bye week. Adam Swayze was back there again against Stewart's Creek this past week, and Scott Blade's kind of keeping it close to the vest as to what Bunch's availability is going to be.
Yeah, and we want to see him back, not because Adam's doing a bad job. He's actually putting in gutsy performance after gutsy performance, a wide receiver turned quarterback, and running the football the way he is, and then sprinkling in some passes to their great playmakers. But we want to see a senior quarterback as talented as Andrew Bunch back as high school football fans. We want to see him out there. And really for Independence's case, they need time to gel again with Andrew at quarterback. So they need some time to get back together, get back in the swing of things. So hopefully he can get back sooner rather than later before the playoffs.
And as fans, we're typically pretty greedy. We kind of want to see these teams at their best, and as good a job as Adam Swayze has done for Independence at quarterback, you feel like they are really at their best with Bunch at the position.
Yeah, and with Adam back at receiver, it makes them more explosive. So, and again, let's talk about Independence's defense too. They have been playing lights out football. They deserve some headlines. A shutout last week. They're doing a great job flying around the football, causing turnovers, giving their offense a short field, and that's again a recipe for a playoff contender when one of your best players can get hurt, you can plug somebody in, you can run the football, and you're playing great defense.
And you're holding people to 9.3 points per game, which is what they're doing right now. Another big 5A game up in Region 6-5. You've got Gallatin going over to Hendersonville. Gallatin coming off of a really tough loss last week. Hendersonville coming off a shutout win over Station Camp.
We've loved Hendersonville all year and really haven't disappointed us. Had one kind of hiccup there versus Hillsboro, but they still have the pieces and a very difficult offense to get ready for in the wing tee with multiple backs, play pretty good defense. Gallatin, on the flip side, has to find a way to come into a big game and not turn the ball over. In their previous two monster matchups versus a Henry County and a Beach, they've had 4 and 5 turnovers, which you're not going to win against bad teams doing that, much less good teams. So if they can get Jordan Mason the ball and then score in the red zone and not turn the ball over, they'll be okay because they can control the clock. But if they continue to turn the ball over, Hendersonville will run away with this one in a hurry.
And turnovers are definitely what you don't want to do against Hendersonville because they put so much pressure on you offensively. You almost feel like they're going to score whenever they've got the ball.
And they're going to hold it. They have the ability to hold it for a whole quarter. So if you turn the ball over and they go on a 15-play drive, you may not get the ball back. And really, it's just huge for Gallatin Mill because we've talked about this region a number of times in our podcast and videocast. You can go from first to fifth on one night if you lose a ball game. So you better come to play and not overlook a team or you're going to be out of the playoffs in this region.
In 7-5A, two teams that are tied with Henry County at the top of that region. Centennial goes to Brentwood.
Yeah, a huge matchup for both teams because it kind of almost guarantees you a 1 or 2 spot in the standings in a home playoff game. So whoever wins this game is going to have a huge upper leg in this region. Brentwood has already clinched a 5A playoff spot, and their record says they're 4-3, but they're 4-0 in their region. So a big matchup for both teams. Centennial has a very talented defense, and Brentwood's going to have to find a way to stay balanced both in the pass game and the running game on offense. On the flip side, if Brentwood can win on first and second down versus Centennial and force them to prove that they can throw the football, it could be a long night for Centennial because I'm just not quite sure if they've still figured out their passing game.
You know, Carson Croy really showed up big for Brentwood last week in their 44-0 win over West Creek. Had a couple of running touchdowns, had a couple of passing touchdowns, and I feel like, you know, for Ron Crawford and that staff, that's kind of what you want to see out of your senior quarterback when you don't have a whole lot of seniors on the team. The ones that you do have, you really want to see them step up and take leadership roles.
Yeah, and both teams have gotten better as the years progressed, and we've talked about senior leaders. You know, Centennial's won 5 straight since that Independence loss, and Brentwood's coming off 3 straight. So 2 teams that have gotten better and better, 2 coaching staffs who found a way to mix in some older guys and find a way to get their younger guys better even with some injuries. So kudos to both staffs. We got 2 very experienced and talented coaches this week too, and Coach Rector and Coach Crawford, that I'm anxious to see which team executes their game plan Friday night.
It'll be interesting because those 2 have been going at it for a pretty good while, you know, with Rector when he was over at Ravenwood and Crawford coming back to town after having been at Brentwood for 10 years and then coming back from Cleveland where he spent the last 3. So interesting little chess match on the sidelines as well as on the field. John Mayer Builders proudly sponsors the Patton Sports videocast. With over 1,500 homes built in Middle Tennessee, John Mayer Builders knows the importance of families and communities. They have numerous business awards to their credit, proving that John Mayer Builders is built to win. Like them on Facebook. John Mayer Builders, our reputation is building. At National Playmakers Academy, developing NPA athletes comes in 3s. NPA develops its student athletes' academic, social, and football-specific skills. Next, NPA develops them for better exposure today, recruitment tomorrow, and college education through scholarships for the rest of their lives. We are proud of the outstanding athletes we have developed. We are more proud of the college graduates we have prepared. Work with National Playmakers Academy for developing gifted athletes into productive citizens. Logo My Logo continually beats the competition by 3 points. Service, expertise, selection. Beyond promotional products, Logo My Logo delivers incredible service to its clients. Their service is only matched by their marketing expertise in presenting their clients in the most professional light. Logo My Logo's broad selection means that their clients have multiple options to communicate their brand strongly. Premier marketing solutions require service, expertise, and selection, and Logo My Logo keeps finding a way to win by those 3 points. I2, Integrity Insurance. I2 Agency was started with one primary focus in mind, helping people. As a multi-line insurance agency, we do that in a variety of ways with a full portfolio of products. Whether it's life, health, dental, Medicare, annuities, or home and auto insurance, we design solutions that will meet your individual needs. Kevin, another one that we wanted to talk about in Division 2A. Couple of teams coming in off of losses, but reprising the state championship matchup as BGA goes up to Knoxville Webb.
Yeah, Webb's been a little bit under characteristic of their kind of program and the winning that they're used to. And Coach Meskey talked about that a little bit in the offseason and the preseason, that he thought that they would have some struggles early on because of how young they were going to be. But a really kind of shocking loss to DCA last week kind of threw us for a loop. And then BGA, 6 turnovers against Davidson Academy. Again, we've touched on this a couple of times. It almost sound like a broken record, but you can't turn the ball over that many times and expect to win a football game. So BGA's got to be able to get away from those turnovers, get their passing game going again, and find playmakers outside of Marcus Cawthorn to help them win a football game.
You know, Webb comes in at 3-3, but don't be too fooled by that record. 2 of those losses are to Alcoa and CAK over in East Tennessee. So traditionally, Webb has played people. I know that a couple of their losses last year were to Maryville and Alcoa. So Coach Meeske goes out and he plays folks, and usually it pays off for him coming down the stretch.
Yeah, and another team in Webb that they're well coached, and they have an offense in the wing tee that they've been running for years, and they're really, really good at it. And that's a hard offense to prepare for. So BGA is going to have to spend some extra time. Coach Patton's going to be spending some extra time in the film room this week, getting his kids ready for that wing tee offense. That's going to kind of keep you up at night because you have to be disciplined. You got to keep your eyes out of the backfield and not let the backs trick you. And you got to stay in your gaps and read your keys.
Another game. It's not a region game for either of these teams, so it's a nice matchup, I think, nice area matchup. Lipscomb goes over to Franklin Road Academy.
Really excited about this one because both teams need to play. They're about a mile away from each other, and one of those games where we're both private schools, they're both in town. Let's get a good crowd, and let's start a rivalry, hopefully, between these two schools that play in every other sport and now are playing in football. Well, this is going to be an interesting matchup in the sense of Lipscomb's got the beef and FRA's got the speed. And so we're going to have to see which one kind of plays out Friday night. Can speed win, or will the beef win? And I think for both teams, turnovers are a factor. Can't turn the ball over, and who can control the ball on offense?
Exactly. You know, we've talked about David Floyd. We've talked about Rutger Rietmeyer, 2 of the top linemen probably in this area, and Rietmeyer probably going to be one of the top junior recruits in Middle Tennessee when he comes out next year. And like you said, Franklin Road Academy's just got playmakers all over the place.
Yeah, Sam Harvin, Larry Wilhoit, Spence Jones at quarterback's doing a great job. In the secondary, Will Tansel, guys that have been around, and those names I just mentioned have played a lot of football. Some of those guys have been starting since their freshman year and now are seniors. They're bigger, they've got more confidence, and they've gone on a little run here, and winning is contagious. And Lipscomb's the team that's got a program. They're a program that's used to winning, and they got good players too. I mean, William Phillips is a guy, if he's back healthy from an ankle that he hurt earlier in the year, he's as fast as anybody on the field for Lipscomb. So they got to do a good job of getting him the football and getting him involved offensively as well.
We kind of stayed away from this one for a little bit, but NBA comes over here Friday night, and it's got a chance to be, certainly on paper, the best matchup we've had this season.
Yeah, and I pray the weather hangs off because we want to see teams we want to see them at full strength, and we want to see the weather be nice so that we can watch some good football and not games where bad snaps are causing a team to win or lose. And if it's good weather, Mo, this could be a game that's very entertaining, that's high scoring with a lot of big explosive plays by some talented football players. And for me, the key is going to be which line is going to take over, because both teams have talented lines. And can BA stop Ty Chandler and force somebody else from NBA to score a touchdown? I know Ty Chandler has 13 touchdowns in his last 3 games. Can they force somebody else from NBA to score a touchdown? On the flip side, can NBA make BA one-dimensional? Can they stop their running game and make BA have to throw the football on every down? And I think that's going to be the key to this football game.
And for Brentwood Academy, Jeremiah Oatsvall threw it around a little bit the other night over at Ainsworth, had 3 pickoffs. So I know he's going to be looking to have a better game Friday night. And like you said, Ty Chandler has just been a man on a mission this last little bit.
Yeah, great player. Got to get out and see him play. And taking more of a load this year. Had more carries this year than he did last year. And the offensive line, let's give them credit, Mo. That offensive line is doing a great job of getting a push, giving him creases and holes. And for a guy like Ty Chandler, and if you're BA's defense, you better stay in your gaps, because he doesn't need much of a crease to find that hole and then hit it for 80 yards. He's the type of back that has great vision and then can get a little jump cut and hit a hole that you may not even see from the stands and get good yardage.
We talk a lot about offense on these shows just because that's kind of what gets your attention. But NBA's got a couple of nice linebackers in David Gaw and Sam Sullivan.
Yeah, and they're going to be busy Friday night. And that's, for me, can NBA slow down the BA running game? And if they can slow down that running game and take kind of Jeremiah Oswald and Prince Mamadou out of the game, then it becomes a passing attack for BA that then NBA can focus on that, because BA's become one-dimensional. And I think if NBA can do that, they have a really good chance of winning this football game.
We were having a conversation earlier this week about how nice it must be to play linebacker when you've got some great defensive linemen in front of you taking up those blocks and that kind of thing. Max Mullen at linebacker for Brentwood Academy, playing behind Brandon Adams at nose guard. Brandon's a Vanderbilt commitment, and those guys are both upwards of 30 tackles.
Yeah, and Mo, I can't express enough to our viewers how impressed I was with Brandon Adams last week against Innsworth. Did a great job technically with his hands, extending his elbows, getting off blocks and getting a push, and then being able to make solo tackles after getting off those blocks. When you have a nose guard /3 technique that can do that, Mo, you're going to win a lot of football games. It makes defensive coordinators look extremely smart when you got a player like that. And if you're Max, on the flip side, you love that because when he does start doing that, now you got a double and triple team of Brandon Adams, which means that those guards and center aren't getting to him at the linebacker position, and now he can run free and make plays, which you saw on the screen pass.
Frees him up to make a pick six on a screen pass, like you said. And in addition to Brandon, Josh Higgs in the middle is playing really well for Brentwood Academy, or looked like he was playing really well Friday night against Innsworth as well. When you've got those space eaters in there in the middle, it's nice.
Yeah, space eaters that can make plays are even better, and so they're being able to do that. And again, this is one of those games that we're excited about as just high school fans, because this could be one of those special ball games with a bunch of talented players, and that's why I'm anxious to keep that weather away so we can see a really good ball game between two talented football teams.
When we come back, we're going to take a look at about 4 other games real quick. We're going to take you through our picks from last week, and then we're going to give you our picks for this week. Mo Patton Sports Videocast is brought to you by Snap Laces. Snap Laces' elite lacing system was designed for world-class athletes. They come in hundreds of color combinations so you can perform well and look great at the same time. Buy a set online today by clicking through the top image on mopattonsports.com. Great teams have talent. They also have the necessary tools for success. BSN Sports delivers these tools whether your team needs uniforms, apparel, or athletic equipment to achieve greatness. Just like a winning teammate, BSN Sports is there for you. Their unmatched service ensures that you have best-in-class equipment for championship-level performance, plus uniforms and athletic apparel from the best brands in the industry to look your best when hoisting your trophy. The law practice of Allen D. Hall, PLC is grounded in providing exceptional legal services with the utmost trust and integrity. Legal services Allen provides include employment law, confidential investigations, general business law, risk management, and regulatory policy interpretation and drafting. Ultimately, if you need consulting solutions, Allen D. Hall needs to be your choice. I would like to tell you about Kevin Smith, broker of Southwestern Real Estate, and his team. They're getting top dollar for every listing, most of the time 98 to 100% of the asking price. Their Smart Seller program has flexible commission structures and leaves you the option to pay 0% in commissions. If you're thinking of selling your home, their Smart Seller program is a must. Not happy? You can fire them at any time with their easy exit listing guarantee. All this makes working with Southwestern Real Estate a no-brainer. Don't miss out. Check them out online at southwesternrealestatenashville.com or call them directly at 615-973-6047. Kevin, Lincoln County kind of got on our radar with their win against Shelbyville last week. They've got Columbia coming to their place this week, and Columbia's had a couple of disappointing losses.
Yeah, and Columbia's got some young talent as well, some guys that they're trying to get in the swing of things, especially in the secondary. They're very young. So Columbia has got a test there with really kind of a tough Lincoln County team that we also were really impressed with how they played in the first half versus Independence. Got a little blitzed in the second half with a little bit of a change there with Adam Swayze running the football. But a Lincoln County team who has a chance here to solidify their spot in their region rankings at maybe a number 2 spot behind Independence. This is a big game for them.
Yeah. Innsworth goes down to Chattanooga to play McCallie.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup in the sense that McCallie's explosive offensively. Innsworth struggled a little bit running the football. Innsworth's going to have to be able to run the football and control the clock with some timely play-action passing to keep McCallie off the field and give their defense a rest. If not, McCallie could run up some points in a hurry.
Henry County goes to Dixon County, and the matchup in itself isn't that compelling necessarily, but Henry County going for its 6th straight shutout.
Yeah, as a former defense coordinator, this is a very impressive feat, and I hope they do it. We're talking about a team that when you're shutting people out like that and the way they're winning by some large margins, that means they've been putting in some of their JV guys, their second and third stringers, kudos to those guys for coming in and playing hard and playing sound and listening to the game plan so that they can continue this streak. That shows a lot about a football program and a team that their young guys are dialed in as well as Henry County's are.
Dixon County does like to throw it around. Henry County early on was having some struggles in the secondary, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, and Dixon County needs a win in the biggest way. You know, Henry County right now is in a three-way tie with Centennial and Brentwood at the top. Dixon County, if they want any shot of getting into the playoffs, they need to get one of these wins here late in the year.
Station Camp, we talked about earlier, lost 31-0 to Hendersonville last week, kind of out of the frying pan into the fire for the Bisons. They go to Beach.
Yeah, tough for them, especially with all the injuries they have mounting up. Station Camp's lost a couple of their better players offensively that can score touchdowns for them. This could be a tough week with Beach coming in that's really starting to kind of catch steam and get going, not only with their running game that we've touched on multiple times, but now with a little bit of a passing threat that they showed last week. And if Beach has that passing threat, Mo, they could become extremely dangerous.
Yeah, if they can throw it around and make you honor play action with Napper and Van Zant back there, that it could be a long night for anybody they see from here going forward. Last week's game, Brentwood Academy kind of took care of business over there about the way well, not necessarily the way we expected, 49-7.
Yeah, and turnovers were a factor, and the rain was a factor, but BA did a good job at the end of the day of getting a win and starting off really fast. A defensive touchdown and a special teams touchdown. And if you can get either one of those alone in a game, you have a really good chance of winning, and they got both. And they started off the game 12-0 before the offense had even come on the field.
Centennial 42, Clarksville 5.
A little shocking how big that was, but it shows the talent that Centennial has on defense, and it shows that the coaching staff has done a really good job for Centennial, even with all their injuries, of finding ways to move the ball on offense.
Forest, we went down to Class 2A. Forest 30, Watertown 20.
Yeah, we both liked Forest in that. They're a tough football team with a good coaching staff. They know who they are. They're going to run it right at you, and that's exactly what they did Friday night.
Beach took out Gallatin 45-7. We talked about that one a little bit.
Yeah, and touched on it. Gallatin's got to find a way in these big games to quit turning the ball over. They got a great running back and a good running game. Impressive win by Beach, though. Let's give them credit. They added a passing game with an already stout running game. If they can continue to do that, watch out for Beach.
Ravenwood came out of the open date and defeated McGavock 49-13.
A little shocking there, too. We thought that would be a little bit more of a close ball game, but Ravenwood now has separated themselves in that region at the top spot, which they need to have those home playoff games. McGavock, on the other hand, they're still talented. They're still going to be there. They got a great coaching staff. If they can kind of right the ship here and kind of work on themselves and quit turning the ball over, McGavock is a tough out in the playoffs.
And another 6A game, Blackman 28, Smyrna 14.
We liked Blackman. Impressive win for them. They couldn't lose another one to go back behind Oakland in the standings. And again, an impressive running game with Taylor Dowdy and an offensive line that we really like and a talented defense. Another team, if they can continue to get better in the pass game, they are going to be a dangerous football team in the playoffs.
Taking a look at our Big Six games this week, we talked a little bit about Independence going to Shelbyville. Who you like in that one?
Like Independence, Shelbyville, again, better right the ship to get going. I believe they will. They need to get Mason Cunningham going early. But Independence, to me, is going to have a little bit too much defense, and they're going to score just enough on offense.
I think you're right. And I think it's going to be more based on Independence's defense, like you said, being able to keep Mason Cunningham in check and to deal with the running game, whether it's Michael Eddings back there or who it is. But I like Independence in this one as well. Centennial and Brentwood.
I think it's actually going to be closer than some people think just because of the way Centennial's been playing. I like Centennial, though. Their defense is very impressive. Brentwood's going to have to be able to stay balanced or Centennial's going to eat them up with slants and stunt packages. And I like Centennial doing just enough offensively to score enough points.
And I think Centennial can get up early and make Brentwood be one-dimensional and then maybe get some pressure on Carson Croy back there at quarterback. I like Centennial in this one as well. Gallatin-Hendersonville.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Hendersonville. Gallatin hasn't proved yet that they can win in a big ball game. Like Hendersonville's offense and defense, they're kind of on a roll here, and they need to continue to solidify themselves as the number 1 seed in that region. I like Hendersonville.
I like Hendersonville as well. But again, you kind of expect Jordan Mason to have another good game for Gallatin. Lipscomb and FRA.
You know, in my opinion, Mo, speed kills, and I'm going to go a little bit probably against the grain here. I'm going to go with FRA. I think they have more speed than Lipscomb, and they're coming in this game where winning is contagious, and they've got that confidence. I see Sam Harvin and Larry Will Hoyt getting all Friday night, and speed coming out in the end with an FRA win.
You know, we're thinking way too much alike, but I like FRA in this one as well. They're playing really well right now. Got a lot of confidence, undefeated. I don't know when the last time was that they've been 7-0 or 8-0, but I think they're getting ready to get this one here.
And it's a tough stretch for them. They need this. This is what they need to get ready for the playoffs. So this is a good stretch for their football team to get ready for their playoff run.
BGA goes up to Webb. Who do you like?
I like BGA. I think they're going to bounce back. Again, if weather's a factor, then Webb would be the pick there. But I just think BGA with Clay Bedford, it's been hard for us to pick against him all year. I think they'll right the ship and figure out what they did wrong last week, and I like BGA in this matchup.
Well, there we go. I like Webb in this one. I think that their schedule, having stepped out and played an Alcoa and a CAK and some of the folks that they've played, I think kind of has them ready for this matchup. And I think until BGA really develops a ground game, and we've talked about this in past weeks, where they can kind of shorten the game up a little bit and maybe take the ball out of Clay Bedford's hands, I think they're going to struggle in games like this. I like Webb in this one. And finally, MBA and Brentwood Academy. What do you think?
Yeah, BA on paper has probably more on paper talent, but until somebody can beat the defending Division II AA champions who currently are sitting at 7-0 in Montgomery Bell Academy, to me it's really hard to pick against them. I like NBA in a kind of a high-scoring affair where both teams are going to run the ball at you with explosive plays in the pass game and some big plays on defense too. But I think you'll see a lot of talented players with NBA coming out on top in a close game.
I've really gone back and forth on this one a lot. I just think Brentwood Academy has so much offensive firepower, and they're so dynamic on that side of the ball. I'm going with the Eagles at home in this one. But check back in a month, because I feel pretty sure that this won't be the last time they see each other, I don't think. But I like the Eagles here. John Mayer Builders proudly sponsors the Mo Patton Sports Videocast. With over 1,500 homes built in Middle Tennessee, John Mayer Builders knows the importance of families and communities. They have numerous business awards to their credit, proving that John Mayer Builders is built to win. Like them on Facebook. John Mayer Builders, our reputation is building. At National Playmakers Academy, developing NPA athletes comes in threes. NPA develops its student athletes' academic, social, and football-specific skills. Next, NPA develops them for better exposure today, recruitment tomorrow, and college education through scholarships for the rest of their lives. We are proud of the outstanding athletes we have developed. We are more proud of the college graduates we have prepared. Work with National Playmakers Academy for developing gifted athletes into productive citizens. That's going to do us here for our Week 8 Mo Patton Sports Videocast. For Kevin Smith, I'm Maurice Patton. We'll see you at the ballgame.